On behalf of the faculty of the Division of the Humanities, I'm honored to welcome the family and friends of our graduates to the University of Chicago and to extend my warm congratulations and commendations to you, the exceptional men and women who will now receive your diplomas. Your professors, your families and friends, those who have supported you through your studies, are all proud of you and of your achievements and of the distinction you have now attained. We know that you will venture forth from Chicago to become leaders, innovators, persons of merit and accomplishment throughout the world, and that you will bring to your communities the benefits of an enriched and critical mind. The value of an enriched and critical mind is the subject of much debate in and beyond the humanities. Especially at this time in our complex world, many question the practical utility of the humanistic enterprise, the study of human culture through history, literature, ancient and modern languages, philosophy, art, and music, and are skeptical of the investment such an education requires. But the cost to society of not engaging in the renewal of human knowledge is too great to even contemplate. Those who engage in research, teaching, and the renewal of knowledge, those who cultivate a deep level of self-examination and constancy of purpose, will contribute to and ensure a strong, self-governing nation. Robert Maynard Hutchins, the 5th president of the University of Chicago, wrote in the International Journal of Ethics in 1934, and I quote, "A university should be a center of rational thought. Certainly it is more than a storehouse of rapidly aging facts. It should be the stronghold of those who insist on the exercise of reason. Its object is always understanding. Rational thought is the only basis of education and research. It has been responsible for our scientific successes. Its absence has been responsible for our bewilderment. A university is the place of all places to grapple with those fundamental principles which rational thought seeks to establish." End quote. So too, Winston Churchill, at a convocation address in 1943, said, quote, "The empires of the future are the empires of the mind." End quote. We of the university community must not allow that future empire to be an impoverished one. The story behind the University of Chicago's motto is not one that many of us think about, and I want to take a minute to impart one more lesson to you. The motto, Crescat Scientia Vita Excolator, is translated with a bit of grammatical license as "let knowledge grow from more to more, and so be human life enriched." This motto is not a direct quote from some venerable Latin source, but it was constructed, it was fabricated by Professor Paul Shorey, a classicist here at the University of Chicago, born in 1857 and died in 1934. For the first part of the motto, Shorey liked the resonance of a phrase in the meditation composed by Alfred Lord Tennyson as a requiem for his friend Arthur Henry Wellham, published in 1849 as In Memoriam AHH. It is a meditation on the search for hope after great loss. The poem includes some of the most often quoted lines in literature. "'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all," or "Nature red in tooth and claw." And the following lines are in the prologue. "We have but faith, we cannot know, for knowledge is a thing we see, and yet we trust it comes from thee, a beam in the darkness, let it grow. Let knowledge grow from more to more, but more of reverence in us dwell, that mind and soul, according well, may take one music as before." Shorey translated Tennyson's "Let knowledge grow from more to more" into Latin as Crescat Scientia. He then took a passage from the 6th book of Virgil's Aeneid, in which Aeneas is watching those happy souls in the sweet fields of Elysium, among whom are, quote, "those who were faithful poets, singers worthy of Apollo, and those who improved life with discoveries in art or science, and those who by merit caused others to remember them." So for the second half of the motto, Shorey used the phrase, "those who improve life," and with appropriate grammatical adjustments, he added the connector "and so" to link the two phrases, yielding "let knowledge grow from more to more, and so be human life enriched." There are many lessons to be taken from this story of the university's motto. Among them is one I want to stress today, and that is one that you will be called upon when you assume roles of leadership in the academy, in business, government, and society, when you are called upon to propose solutions for global problems. You will be asked to respond swiftly, decisively, in an ever-expanding and complex world. You will be challenged to innovate and to evaluate. As you do so, your actions, your deeds, and your ethical positions will be informed by the values and lessons imparted by your communities and by your university. Like Paul Shorey, use what you have learned at the university. Change it, adapt it, translate it, connect it, make it your own. Connect the various insights and make them something new, something of yours, and something worthy. May every one of you use your best advantage what you have learned here. May you make a difference in the challenging world you inherit, and may your lives reflect honor back to your families, to your communities, and to the University of Chicago. Congratulations, graduates of 2015. As we celebrate the accomplishments of those who are graduating today, we also celebrate the accomplishments of members of our community for their teaching, their mentoring, and their scholarship. I have the honor of conferring the inaugural Dean's Distinguished Dissertation Award. This new award acknowledges the outstanding scholarly contributions of a dissertation completed in the Division of the Humanities. The 2015 award goes to Maggie Taft, who received her doctoral degree in art history last spring for her dissertation, Making Danish Modern, 1945 to 1960. Maggie is unable to attend today's ceremony as she has a position at Washington University. Please join me nonetheless in congratulating Maggie's accomplishment. Now we honor members of our community from across many divisions and schools who dedicate themselves to teaching and mentoring excellence. Earlier today, the Provost announced the names of all of this year's recipients of university-wide awards, several of whom are members of the Division of the Humanities. Emily Dreyfus, a doctoral candidate in the Department of Germanic Studies, was awarded the Wayne C. Booth Graduate Student Prize for Excellence in Teaching. Martha Ward, Associate Professor in the Department of Art History, receives a Llewellyn John and Henry Manchester Quantrell Award for Excellence in Undergraduate Teaching at the college diploma ceremony now underway in the Main Triangle. Next, I have the honor of conferring the Janelle M. Mueller Awards for Excellence in Pedagogy, named in honor of former Dean and Professor Emerita Janelle Mueller. This award recognizes the contributions of lecturers and senior lecturers within the Division of the Humanities. Presenting the honorees will be Jason Merchant, Deputy Dean for Languages and Instruction and Professor in the Department of Linguistics. First, Professor Janelle Mueller has a few words of congratulations.
It really will be a few words. I've known to use too many. I'm pleased and honored to have my name associated with an award that recognizes distinction in the activity that is central to our academic enterprise, as Dean Roth has just told us. That is, dedicated, imaginative, highly effective teaching. This year's two awardees have all of our admiring congratulations and our thanks for their contributions in keeping the state of the university's motto alive and well. Let knowledge grow from more to more so that human life may be enriched. Thank you.
Ana Maria Fusa Lima is a dedicated scholar of Portuguese and of Brazilian culture who consistently seeks to enhance the classroom experience of her students. A leader in her field of language pedagogy, she has developed and expanded our Portuguese program and created successful course and curricular materials for teaching Portuguese to Spanish speakers. She is known not just for her pedagogical acumen, but also for her infectious enthusiasm and caring support for her students. Dean Roth, I have the honor to present Ana Maria Fusa Lima for the Janelle M. Mueller Award for Excellence in Pedagogy.
A leading practitioner and scholar of Portuguese language pedagogy, Ana Maria Fusa Lima inspires her students to become global citizens through the study of language and culture.
Daniel Rayburn is a singularly devoted and active teacher whose own accomplishments as a writer of essays and memoirs inform his approach to his students' writing. He is known for providing detailed feedback to his students with encouragement and clear strategies for improvement. This commitment to honest and helpful critique extends to his classroom, where he builds a supportive writing community in each course. His love of teaching resonates powerfully with his students and is an example to his colleagues. Dean Roth, I have the honor to present Daniel Rayburn for the Janelle M. Mueller Award for Excellence in Pedagogy.
By example and by instruction, Daniel Rayburn teaches his students to communicate with honesty and clarity as writers and thinkers in today's world. I now have the honor to bestow 2 additional university-wide teaching awards, those for excellence in graduate teaching and mentoring. Presenting the first of this year's recipients is Larry Norman, the Frank L. Sulzberger Professor and Chair in the Department of Romance Languages and Literatures.
Daisy J. Delogou's work at the intersection of culture, politics, and gender in medieval France has opened new avenues for understanding how individuals, writers and readers alike, constitute their sense of themselves and the world. The creativeness and commitment she brings to her scholarship are contagious and have been transformative for students across a broad range of disciplines at the university. She employs astonishing skill and inventiveness to engage students in a subject matter often quite foreign to them, and in doing so opens their literary and historical imaginations to a new world. She is moreover passionate about improving not only the scholarly development of our students, but also their daily human experience in our program and at our university. She is a model of both intellectual vigor and human generosity. Dean Roth, I have the honor to present Daisy Delogou for the Faculty Award for Excellence in Graduate Teaching and Mentoring.
Combining a contagious passion for intellectual inquiry with a deep concern for our students as human beings, Daisy J. Delogou is inspiring a new generation of scholars in medieval and French studies. Larry, wait. Okay, now, thank you. Presenting the second recipient of this honor is Alan C. Yu, Associate Professor in the Department of Linguistics.
Christopher Kennedy is an extraordinary scholar whose prolific and innovative work in semantics, pragmatics, and the philosophy of language has inspired countless students and colleagues to think beyond disciplinary boundaries. He is a tireless advocate for students and colleagues, always thinking of new ways to cultivate an atmosphere that enables everyone to thrive. His influence reaches beyond his writings in the classroom. He is a paragon of a teacher-scholar who leads an exemplary life that reminds us all of the importance of maintaining a balance between work and beyond.
With his intellectual openness, generosity, and academic rigor, Christopher Kennedy inspires countless young scholars and colleagues to strive for excellence in academia and beyond. And we can applaud again. Each year, we honor those members of our faculty who have demonstrated exemplary teaching and mentoring throughout their careers, working closely with students at both the undergraduate and graduate level. 3 members of our faculty are achieving emeritus status this year. They have left their singular imprints on generations of students with their scholarship, mentorship, and guidance. They have encouraged students to take intellectual risks and to achieve their highest ambitions. It is a pleasure for us to recognize and celebrate their contributions to the University of Chicago made by the following members of our faculty. Please hold your applause till the end. Shulamit Ron for music, Norman Golb, Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations, and Victor Friedman, linguistics. Okay, now the good part. At the university-wide ceremony this morning, I asked our candidates for the degrees of Masters of Arts, Master of Fine Arts, and Doctor of Philosophy to stand, and in the presence of the faculty of the university and the members of the Board of Trustees, President Zimmer formally conferred those degrees in recognition of the academic achievements of our students. At this time, it is my honor to award individual diplomas to each of our graduates.
Dean Roth, as Dean of Students for the Division of the Humanities, I now have the honor to present for their diplomas these students who have successfully completed a program of advanced study in the humanities, culminating in the degree of Masters. Anurag Advani, David Aaron Oldman, Ahmad Arbaboun, Asnia Asim, Mark Cullen Brokenshire, Emma Grace Brush, Sean Lee Campbell, Lauren Renee Cardi, Eugene Kwantai Chan, Jaiji Chen, Joanna Chahonsky, Kyle Clark, Allison Cochran, Ikumi Eileen Kokal, Joshua Michael Davidson, Clancy Catherine Disa, Shayla Enright, Rebecca Geneva Fabricio, Jennifer Farrell, Edward Fernandez, Jasmine Grace, Jonathan Russell Gregg, Richard Frederick Harrod, Andrew Herm, Sania Javin, Elena M. Jones, Parthy Joshi, Juliana Joyce, Gary Alexander Kafer, Rachel Rose Kamens, Nicholas Patrick Kelly, Nishan Thomas Kessaker, Elliot Hamilton Clifford Koch, Christian Spiros Motsenigu Kronstadt, Shandu Kwan, Andrew Thomas Lauder, Patricia N. Lawless, Amy Lee, Wei-Chun Lee, Michael W. Long, Jeremy Sinclair Lowenthal, Yi Luan, Hannah Elizabeth Lyle, Shanchan Mai. Phoebe Colleen Marshall. Madison Lynn McGann. Brianna McGuire. Anne Marie McManaman. Anna Mirzayan. Thomas Morrison. Jason James Nabagal. Benjamin Wall Oxford. Elizabeth Claire Pinto. Morgan Michelle Pedreza. Daniel Puthwala. Tyler Spence Quick. Emma Marie Wheel. Margaret Ann Rose. Patrick Allen Runfeld. Rachini Sivathat Samak. Shamoni Sarkar. William Smith. Noor Shawaf. Anthony Luis Silvestre. Ethan Simons. Rebecca Lee Spoor. Alessandra Stamper. Andrew Canby Stanford. Jessica Paige Tapper. Alex Needham Taylor. Stephen Browning Thompson. Jenny Wang. Margaret Helene Weitzman. Gordon Dearborn Wilkins. Ryan Wolfe. Tegan A. Walter. Ellison Colette Young. Zheng Zhang.
Dean Roth, as chair of the Department of Visual Arts, I now have the honor to present for their diplomas these students who have successfully completed a program of advanced study in the visual arts, culminating in the degree of Master of Fine Arts.
Garis Sherry Adams. Alexandra Page Calhoun. Autumn Elizabeth Clark. Zachary David Harvey. David Barrett Lloyd. Sarah Elizabeth Rouse. Laurel Victoria Whitehead. Richard Gartley Williamson.
The components of academic regalia derived from medieval clerical dress are the gown, the cap, and, for those attaining the highest competencies, the hood. Today, those scholars who are being admitted to the community of doctors of philosophy will receive both a hood and their diplomas for their disciplinary achievement. The velvet edge of the hood is dark blue, representing the broad fields of philosophy and humanistic studies. The lining is maroon, the color of the University of Chicago. In our ceremony, the hood will be placed over the head of each candidate by her or his dissertation advisor or department chair, assisted by James Chandler, the Barbara E. and Richard J. Franke Distinguished Service Professor in the Department of English Language and Literature and the Department of Cinema and Media Studies, where he is also the chair, and director of the Franke Institute for the Humanities.
Dean Roth, as Dean of Students for the Division of the Humanities, I now have the honor to present for their diploma and hood these students who have attained scholarly distinction and have prepared a dissertation that contributes to knowledge in a particular field of research in the humanities, culminating in the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Rodrigo Adem, Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, The Intellectual Genealogy of Ibn Taymiyyah. Committee, Ahmed Al-Shamsi, Fred Donner, Franklin Lewis, and Paul Walker, hooded by Theo van den Hout. Mohammad Zahid Achil, Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, State and Government in the mid-16th century Ottoman Empire, the Grand Vizirates of Rustem Pasha, 1544 to 1561. Committee, Cornel Fleischer, Orit Bashkin, Hakan Kareteke, and Holly Shishler, hooded by Cornel Fleischer. Nir Ben Mosh, Department of Philosophy, dissertation, Idolization and the Moral Point of View, an Adam Smithian account of moral reasons. Committee, Brian Leiter, Daniel Brutney, Samuel Fleischecker, and Marcia Nussbaum, hooded by Daniel Brutney. Andrew Aaron Kashner, Department of Music, dissertation, Faith, Hearing, and the Power of Music in Hispanic Villancicos, 1600 to 1700. Committee, Robert Kendrick, Victor de Armas, Frederick de Armas, Martha Feldman, Maria Gambera Ustaros, and Anne Robertson, hooded by Robert Kendrick. Daniel Joseph Goff, Department of Music, dissertation, Listening in the Mega City, Music in Sao Paulo's Cultural Policy Worlds. Committee, Philip V. Bowman, Travis Jackson, and Kaylee Mason, hooded by Robert Kendrick. Matthew Ray Howsky, Department of Cinema and Media Studies, dissertation, Cowboy Modernity, Context of the Hollywood Western, 1946 to 1964. Committee, James Lastra, Thomas Gunning, and Jennifer Wild, hooded by Thomas Gunning. Cynthia D. Hillman, Department of Romance Languages and Literatures, dissertation, The Part and the Whole, a study of brevity and the form of the diary in Ennio Flaiano's early works. Committee, Rebecca West, Armando Maggi, and Noah Steimatsky, hooded by Rebecca West. Michael Dean Jennings, Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations, dissertation, Beyond the Walls of Jericho, Gerber al-Mafjar and the Signature Landscape of the Jericho Plain. Committee, Fred Donner, Walter Kagi, and Donald Whitcomb, Hooded by Donald Whitcomb. Alicia Lola Jones, Department of Music, dissertation, We Are a Peculiar People, Meaning, Masculinity, and a Competence in Gendered Gospel Performance. Committee, Melvin Butler, Philip V. Bowman, Travis Jackson, Robert Kendrick, Hooded by Melvin Butler. Ian Bryce Jones, Department of Cinema and Media Studies. Dissertation, Enough of a World, a Phenomenology of Video Game Weltlichkeit. Committee, Patrick Jagoda, Thomas Gunning, and James Lastra. Hooded by Patrick Jagoda. Andrea Harris Jordan, Department of Music. Dissertation, House Around Irish Music, Past and Present in Discourses of Irish Music from the 19th to the 21st Century. Committee, Philip V. Bowman, Robert Kendrick, and Kaylee Mason. Hooded by Robert Kendrick. Arun Kang, Department of Linguistics. Dissertation, Indefiniteness, Disjunction, and Anti-Specificity in Korean, a study in the semantic pragmatics interface. Committee, Anastasia Janakidu, Itamar Frances, Jason Merchant, Ming Zhang, and Suwon Yoon. Hooded by Anastasia Janakidu. Yuan Chen Lee, Department of Music. Dissertation, Wandering Viewpoint, a concerto for solo cello and 2 ensembles. Committee, Marta Patazinska, Shulamit Ron, and Larry Zibikowski. Hooded by Shulamit Ron. Nancy Lin, Department of Art History. Dissertation, Representing Difference, Early 20th Century Japanese and Korean Art. Committee, Chelsea Foxwell, Hans Thompson, and Wu Hang. Hooded by Persis Burlekamp. Matthew James McAfee, Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations. Dissertation, Life and Mortality in Ugaritic, a lexical, literary, and comparative analysis. Committee, Dennis Pardee, David Sluin, and Theo van den Hout. Hooded by Dennis Pardee. Andrew Evans McManus, Department of Music. Dissertation, Killing the Goat, opera in 7 scenes after Mario Vargas Llosa. Committee, Marta Patazinska, Robert Kendrick, and Shulamit Ron. Hooded by Shulamit Ron. Erin Leigh Neerstad, Department of English Language and Literature. Dissertation, Lyric and the Varieties of Protestant Religious Experience in 19th Century England. Committee, Elizabeth Helsinger, Elaine Hatley, and Richard Stryer. Hooded by Elizabeth Helsinger. Stephanie Lisanne Salover, Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations. Dissertation, Excavating War, the Archaeology of Conflict in Early Chalcolithic to Early Bronze III Central and Southeastern Anatolia. Committee, Gil Stein, Maria Nene Lozada, York Rowan en David Sloan. Hoeded bij Theo van den Hout. Daniel Harrison Sumner Smith, Department of Philosophy, dissertation, Infinity and Givenness, Kant's Critical Theory of Sensibility. Committee, Robert Pippin, James Conant, Anat Shechtman, and Daniel Sutherland. Hooded by Robert Pippin. Catherine Diane Swanton, Department of Comparative Literature. Dissertation, More Human Than Divine. The Communality and Forgiveness in Shakespeare's Later Plays and Golden Age Comedias. Committee, Frederick de Armas, David Bevington, and Richard Stryer. Hooded by Richard Stryer. Matthew Francis Steigman, Department of Philosophy, dissertation, Characterizing Kinds, a Semantics for Generic Sentences. Committee, Jason Bridges, Chris Kennedy, and Malte Wheeler. Hooded by Chris Kennedy. Claudio Vellutini, Department of Music, dissertation, Cultural Engineering, Italian Opera in Vienna, 1816-1848. Committee, Bertolt Hübner, John Boyer, Martha Feldman, and Philip Gossett. Hooded by Bertolt Hübner. Dean Roth, I now have the honor to present for the Hood these students who have attained scholarly distinction and have prepared a dissertation that contributes to knowledge in a particular field of research in the humanities, and were awarded the degree of Doctorate of Philosophy at a convocation ceremony earlier this year. Miriam Francesca Aloisio, Department of Romance Languages and Literatures. Degree conferred autumn 2014. Dissertation, Dalla comicità all'Apocalisse, una lettura critica dell'opera di Luigi Malerba. Committee, Rebecca West, Peppe Cavatorta, Armando Maggi, and Rocco Rubini. Hooded by Rebecca West. Abhishek Ghosh, Department of South Asian Languages and Civilizations. Degree conferred summer 2014. Dissertation, Vaishnavism and the West, a study of Kedarnath Dada Bhaktivinoda's encounter and response, 1869-1909. Committee, Wendy Doniger, Dipesh Chakrabarti, and Gary Tubb. Hooded by Wendy Doniger. Tate Sewell Paulette, Department of Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations. Degree conferred winter 2015. Dissertation, Grain Storage and the Moral Economy in Mesopotamia, 3000 to 2000 BC. Committee, McGuire Gibson, Scott Branting, Michael Dietler, and David Sloan. Hooded by McGuire Gibson. Matthew David Saba, Department of Art History and Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations. Degree conferred summer 2014. Dissertation, Impermanent Monument, Lasting Impression. The Abbasid del Al-Khalifa Palace of Samarra. Committee, Persis Burlekamp, Barry Flood, Eva Hoffman, and Richard Neer. Hooded by Persis Burlekamp. Joshua John Weiss, Department of English Language and Literature. Degree conferred winter 2015. Dissertation, Modernist Ecstasy, Sexuality and the Sacraments in Modern Literature. Committee, Deborah Nelson, Bill Brown, and Richard Rosengarten. Hooded by Richard Rosengarten.
We have spent today celebrating you, the graduates of the Division of the Humanities. Completing a course of graduate studies is an accomplishment of which every one of you should be proud. But we must recognize that this achievement is not yours alone. It belongs also to those who have supported you through the years. So I'd like to ask the graduates to all please rise and acknowledge and thank your parents, your children, your partners, your family, and all your friends. Now turn back to the front. Don't sit down yet. Turn back to the front and thank the faculty and staff of this great university for all they have done for you to make you the accomplished people you are. You may sit down now. There's a third group, though, I ask you not to forget, the community of your fellow graduates of the University of Chicago. Here to welcome you to our alumni community is Carla Scherer, one of the university's and the humanities' most devoted volunteers, an alumna of the Master of Arts program in the humanities, and our dedicated chairwoman of the division's visiting committee.
There is certainly nothing that I can say to any of you today that is going to be the light bulb that illuminates your future. You have the distinction of having received a diploma from one of the preeminent places of learning in the world today. That rolls off the tongue in a pretty facile fashion, doesn't it? But in the long arc of history, what it actually means is that you are uniquely privileged. You have earned your degrees by respectfully listening to the ideas of others, countered them with your own perceived wisdom, and have intellectually grown in a way that is part of the University of Chicago experience. If you have been rendered uncertain or even stressed, you have not been told that there are safe places where you can escape the perhaps unwelcome views of others. You have been taught to use your minds to counter what you believe to be incorrect, and if you found in that very messy process that your reasoning was flawed, you adjusted the calculus. This, at its core, is what makes this place so special. Ideas have not been reduced to politically correct generalizations. They've taped my words together. Just a minute here. Now, if you have absorbed this during your time here, then you will leave knowing how to think, how to challenge, how to live your lives honestly until you take your last breath. The future may not be paved with gold or celebrity, but I can promise you this: yours will be a life filled with consummate intellectual honor, and that, after all, is what our time here on this earth is ultimately about. Come back and visit often. The University of Chicago's Humanities Division is your intellectual home. Thank you.
As you leave in a few minutes, this, our 523rd Convocation. Some of you will continue your formal education here at the University of Chicago or elsewhere. Others will start new careers inside or outside of the academy. We, your teachers, your mentors, Trust that you will pursue your goals and aspirations with ambition tempered by wisdom, with discernment sharpened by critical reasoning, and with dedication fortified by ideals. Good luck and thank you.
This now concludes the Division of the Humanities Diploma and hooding ceremony at the 523rd Convocation of the University of Chicago. We thank you for bearing witness to today's ceremony, and we welcome you to continue the festivities back across the street in Bartlett Quadrangles with a glass of champagne to celebrate all that you have accomplished. Congratulations.